live from New York. It's a show that is getting ready for Thanksgiving. Getting ready, thinking about foods.
It's also the show that over the Thanksgiving break might have to recalibrate a bit.
I agree with that.
Because Brou's going to agree with me. And the audience has noticed, our Reddit page has noticed,
You're on Reddit
coworkers
now?
have noticed.
Reddit is a little harsh.
But
you're at Reddit.
They're more harsh than the regular YouTube.
But here's the thing. Here's what everyone's noticed. As Wilds' real team, the Patriots, have become contenders, Wilds is changing.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
cockier.
Yes.
You know, not as sweet and chummy.
Correct. And and really wants to be like the take guy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have no problem. We have no problem with, but it takes a recalibration from all of us.
All that fun-loving, silly junk, he's done with it.
He's done with it.
Yeah.
They're playing for some real stakes now.
For the record, if you give me an option, another option, I will take it. But with the risk of your team being out of the Super Bowl and wheeled in on a hospital bed, and you're on the verge of being 500 by Thanksgiving night, someone's got to do the heavy lifting.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Someone's got to be the villain, and you guys can be. It's like wrestling. We're starting with the 8-4 49ers. They get another win. Classic Wilds. Brock completed 26 passes. 23 to his team, 3 to the Panthers. Second time in his career, he's thrown 3 interceptions and a half, Brou.
Yep.
Nevertheless, San Francisco prevails.
I know that.
Brou, are you worried about Purdy?
Worried?
Okay.
Come on, man.
No, sir. Yeah. Mr. QB wins. Asking me if I'm worried?
He has won in 3 games.
Yeah, in 4. He's 3-1. They're 8-4 overall. Last night they beat a playoff contender handily.
Despite
and I'm
him.
supposed to be worried? I ain't worried at all. I'm quaking! I'm overwrought! I am trembling like a twig in a windstorm. That's how worried. Yeah, worried. I wish I was only worried.
Just cancel the show. We can't get any better than this. You're the best. You got to be a solo.
Google me, Wilds.
You're unbelievable.
Google me. Check my IMDb page.
I don't belong.
You don't think a brother can act.
I
Now
don't
you
belong.
do. Now you know.
I don't belong here. I need to go to AAA or something. You're the best.
Brock, get it together. Get it together. If your toe is bothering you, sit out. If not, you got to make better passes and better decisions because the team actually looks pretty good.
Yes.
And you know I ride with you, but you're looking like the weak link. And so you got to play better.
Brou, I appreciate that.
All serious.
Serious. So I respect the humility that took and the honesty that took.
I'm keeping it
right,
real.
because this is a problem, and you can't really say it's an outlier. So, like, here's the last few years, guys who have had 3 straight drives with an interception. You're going to note, like, so it's Purdy yesterday, and then Dak, who's really good, and then quarterbacks that either aren't starters or we don't trust. So you might say,
Jameis is a pro. Like
That was the MVP
lately,
here.
that's how Brock's been. Like he has some big plays, but it's like a reckless.
it's a great comp.
Yeah.
Jameis when he actually this
That's
is
when he was
Jameis with New Orleans, but you're thinking of like Bucks Jameis.
Yes.
You know what I mean? A guy's like, hey man, no risk it, no
Even
biscuit.
now, I mean, we know if he plays more, that's what's coming.
And so the fact that it's happened once, he's done it once, don't have him 5 times, makes it feel like it's an outlier. But what about multi-pick halves in the last 3 years? Brock has 8. Joe Flacco, who hasn't even been a full-time, same type of guy. And the Prince, who, I'll be honest, has a turnover problem. He has a turnover problem. And so this is my concern because I really agree with the last thing you said. I don't quite know how, other than Shanahan's a brilliant tactician. Big Bob Saleh is if I had a vote for assistant coach of the year, which exists, that's an award that exists, it'd go to him right now.
I agree. He might get it. I mean, he's definitely got to be at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure even who's the major contenders, but it feels like the fact that they have lost Warner and Bosa, and going into the year, we were like, the defense has lost a lot of people in free agency, and he's been brilliant. And Christian McCaffrey's out of this world. I don't know how long you can keep it up, but he's out of this world. And then you have this question of, it's unfair to Brock to say, was it a fluke because it was an extended period? But
he legitimately played well.
He played,
there's no question.
But
earlier,
it's the first 2 years of his career versus the last 2 years. And if we put them side by side, you look and you say, oh, is he just, forget the win-loss record, is he just not going to reach the heights that we saw? And if that's the case, if he is still, because you can deal with a bunch of turnovers if you are having as many of the boom plays, but particularly KW with the toe injury and the lack of mobility, which was one of his kind of underrated strengths.
Absolutely.
Man, if I'm the Niners, I'm on a, if his next game is awful, I think I might have to go to Mac and blame it on the foot.
Let me add just quickly, before I know you want to go. You can write 3 touchdowns or 3 interceptions and a half. You might say, okay, that's an aberration, even though he's done it before. Yeah. But he's got 7 interceptions in 4 games this year. If you go back to his last 3 last year or last 4 games, he's got 11 interceptions in his last 7 starts. So this is because, and I'm gonna be honest, when you talked a couple years ago when he was like, I want to be more aggressive and lighted, things like Tom Brady compared himself to, not that he said he was Tom Brady.
But he wants to step on people's throat at the killer instinct.
He has been more reckless or aggressive instead of just kind of playing within the system. And he needs to go back to that because he's making too many mistakes.
So I'm going to show you Purdy's deep passes, but then I'm going to ask you a question. 2025, he is 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. 2023, I think, is what your kind of line.
Yeah, his
unbelievable. Yeah. But Brou, what you mentioned speaks to a combination of health and decision making. What part of his struggles are health, and what part are decision making?
I think there's both in there. I think a lot of it is health. What I don't know the status of his toe. They said it would be all year. But at the end of last year, he was kind of banged up. And he's banged up quite a bit. We've talked about that. And I think even at Iowa State, I think he was, an aggressive guy that would try to make throws. And that's what McCaffrey was talking about. I like that he continues to do it. Second half last night, he stayed relatively aggressive. They kept him throwing short passes for the most part. But look, I do think he can get it back. And I'll bring up a benching possibly. Because Drew Brees was benched at one point in his career. Kurt Warner obviously was benched. Troy Aikman was benched. At, I think the 3rd year for Brees and Aikman. So Purdy's in his 4th year. I'm just saying you can come back from a benching. If it comes, I wouldn't do it now. But if he continues to throw 2 interceptions a game, then you're going to have to.
Those are 3 good examples. Nick, do you mind rattling off the guys who got benched and did not play well?
Yeah, I mean, there's 70 others, right? So, those are.
But I'm just saying,
your point that it's not possible. A death knell is true. Typically, though, if you're a veteran quarterback, which in year 4 you are, and you lose your job, it is after you've been paid, it is a horrible sign. And here's what I would say. He plays, and I don't want this to sound patronizing, but I guess it will. He plays with an undeserved arm arrogance.
Yeah, Baker a little bit.
But Baker has a crazy strong arm.
Yep.
Baker has some other weaknesses, whatever. And Flacco is a guy. Flacco, you know what I mean, has, I don't know if he still does to a degree. He plays a style of a guy that's like, man, I don't care that he's covered. I'm going to rip it in there. And certain guys, Brett Favre is the pinnacle example of that, right? And then there's the anti-example of that is Jeff George, who had as strong of arm as Brett Favre, but just made awful decisions. I don't know of many quarterbacks that I've seen in my lifetime that play that style without having a strong arm. And Purdy, even when at his peak, biggest defender, nobody was like, man, that guy's got a cannon.
Yep.
It's that his processing, decision-making, accuracy, timing, those things. And so that is what is so odd to me. Even if you remember, gosh, I think it was 2 years ago, it might have been the first game of the year, the touchdown pass he threw that Shanahan said that's the worst decision he's made when he was here.
I love that pass, actually.
Right, but
that's part of what, I mean, again, McCaffrey was referring to.
And so, but he just has,
can't make the mistake.
It does, I don't want to say he has bought into the hype because it is unfair, even though I've been a lifelong skeptic of his forever, to call it hype. Because it wasn't hype. There was, it was top 5 in MVP voting. They made a Super Bowl. It wasn't make-believe. But it seems like, for some reason or another, he got sick of making the easy plays and wanted to make the wow plays. Maybe because there was a jerk on TV saying count the wows or the oh no's. It's like, I'm going to prove these people wrong. And then so that change in style, plus less talent around him, plus being banged up, plus maybe a little extra pressure of, not that he hasn't played without pressure, of, oh man, Mac Jones played pretty well, he's putting up 300 yards, I want to do the same thing, has created.
Feel it with the contract.
Right,
too.
and the pressure of the contract has created a scenario where that was, he and Bryce were having a mid-off yesterday, and that is complimentary.
No, that's true.
22 for 24, under 10 yards, 1 for 8, 3 interceptions.
And it could have been 5. There were two other, in the first half, there were 2 that were, Aikman almost passed out.
He was just in a zone.
Yeah, a zone of throwing picks.
All right, let's head to Baltimore. Say it ain't toe. Joe Burrow returning from his toe injury. Lamar on the injury report yesterday with a toe. Now, the good news is that he practiced today. John Harbaugh was asked if he thinks injuries are affecting his quarterback. Here's the injury report this season. Toe, week before, ankle, week 11, knee, and then he missed the games with the hamstring.
On the bright side, it's moving south, and after the toe,
nowhere
there's nowhere to go. So it's just slowly escaping.
Up, then up the other leg. How concerning is this, bro?
I think it's concerning because I feel like injuries or being banged up to some degree is really the only explanation for how he's been playing. Mm-hmm. Like, you can have a bad game, even 2. You might not be quite at your peak. But this is the first time in his 8-year career he's been under 200 yards passing and 60% completions in 3 straight games. And we saw, I think we have a graphic, his first 5 games, he was lighting the league on fire. And even when they were losing, it wasn't because of the offense. And you see 15 touchdowns, 136 passer rating, which is out of this world for multiple games. And then the last 3, 71 passer rating, 1 touchdown since he's been back, 2 picks. And it's concerning because this offense, while it can win the AFC North, like with this offense playing this way, they can't get to the Super Bowl.
No.
Even if the Chiefs are out, to be honest.
Correct.
And that would be a tragedy because for Lamar or Josh not to reach the Super Bowl in a year the Chiefs are either down or out, whatever it might be. Now, I do believe he can get it going, and I feel confident that he'll play better. But if it is injuries, you just might not be able to at that point. So he alluded to it after the game. Somebody asked him about his health, and he said, I can't call it, but since I'm out there, I should be playing better. Mm-hmm. So he kind of, he didn't kill, no, I'm fine. And so I do think it's affecting his running, his escapability, and he hasn't been the same, no question.
All right, I don't want this to be misconstrued, so I'm going to try to be very deliberate with what I say here. Because I think Lamar, remember I did a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, the all-time Mahomes mountain. And I had Lamar somewhere in the 15 greatest quarterbacks ever. And there obviously have been quarterbacks that are dynamic with their legs that are just not good passers.
Right.
And that is not who Lamar is. With that said, I have thought for the last few years that the biggest Lamar fans in the analytics community and in a lot of writers, to be totally honest, that talk about him as a passer are watching a different player than me, because they talk about how elite he is within the pocket, and that's true, and how precise he is, and that's somewhat true. And they talk about it as if it is divorced from his running. And I have never felt that way. I have felt that what has made Lamar so special is that because he is such a dynamic runner, you almost have to defend that first, which then has cleared the picture in passing, and he has improved in the passing from okay when he first came into the league to pretty good, and that made him have 40 touchdowns, 4 picks, all of these things.
The last few years'
numbers have been unbelievable. He doesn't run anymore. And teams, I think, are realizing it. And for the first time, I believe, he is being defended like a mostly traditional quarterback. And I think he's struggling with it. So I think that...
So you think the injuries are affecting his running?
I think he was already paring back on the run.
Right.
And now the paring back plus the injuries make it to where he's not really a threat to run. And if Lamar, this sounds ridiculous, but if they passed a rule like flag football or whatever, like you can't run as a quarterback, I don't believe Lamar would have these gaudy passing numbers. I don't think he'd be terrible. I think he'd be out of the league, but I think he'd be just fine. And so now it appears to me teams are less afraid of him as a runner. They are more defending him as a passer. And he is, even though he's in year 8, seeing things he's not usually seeing coverages and seeing those things, and you're seeing it show up in the numbers. That is not a sweeping indictment on him as a player, because you get credit for your legs and you get credit for what
as a quarterback, it's all like your ranking, including
everything, and how you force teams to guard you. But I give that long explanation to then say this. This is super concerning if he can't put on film in short order. I'll go 11 for 120 like I used to do a couple times a year because teams weren't respecting it. I will beat you that way, because if he doesn't do that, I think teams will treat him more like a traditional quarterback. And I think that's going to be tough, and not just because of whatever his limitations are or aren't, but they also, I've never been a huge Zay Flowers guy. They don't have great receivers that just like, all right, we're going to line up and beat you that way. So I think this is greatly concerning.
They're not fully, but you could compare them. Their receivers are better than Buffalo's.
Yes.
But they have the tight ends like Buffalo had when they're healthy. Now, obviously, they both got great running backs too. But I think his lack of running is affecting Derrick Henry, too. I do think Henry's aged a bit and doesn't have the same. But if you don't have to worry, last year you had to worry about Lamar running, Lamar throwing, and Derrick Henry. Now it's not the case. So that might not be out of the question.
Sacked 24 times this year and missed the games. Last year, just 23 times.
In 8 games, he's been sacked more than last year.
Let's look ahead to Thanksgiving afternoon. Chiefs in Dallas. I'm on the couch, trying to stay awake, get that tryptophan.
I'm going to be on the West Coast. This is a 1:30 West Coast, which means there's no way for it not to conflict with the meal. It's going to, listen, I'll be holding my granddaughter, but my wife's going to be super pissed.
Yeah. Cowboys currently at 13% to make the playoffs. Chiefs at 61%. Nick, are you surprised the Chiefs are favored in this game?
I'm not. I know you are. And here's why I'm not. The Chiefs' offense has been hit or miss, I think is fair. And even in that, maybe especially in that Colts game, where they moved the ball at will, but they had a turnover inside their own 5 and inside the other team's 5. They weren't good in the red zone. And I think I thought Patrick was brilliant when he absolutely had to be, but was mediocre in the first 3 quarters, and that was after 2 bad performances. The pick was bad. But they have carved up bad pass defenses. They score about 30 a game. Patrick is really good, and we can the one loss they have against the bad pass defense is the Jacksonville loss, where they should have scored 38. They scored 28, and so The touchdown interception ratio is not as good as you would like, and they have a lot of Kareem Hunt 1-yard touchdown runs in there, but they're scoring 28 a game, and that's with taking the foot off the gas in some of these fourth quarters. I respect Quinnen Williams a ton and what he has added to the Cowboys defense, and I think that, and you can say, well, the Bills don't have a good defense. The Bills don't have a good run defense, and the Chiefs didn't even try or maybe couldn't take advantage of it. I don't trust the Cowboys back end. And the Cowboys themselves have been like, we built a team to stop the run. Okay. And so I just think that while I think the Cowboys, when they have the ball, can do real damage, I think Patrick against this pass defense presents a ton of problems for Dallas, and I think that's why Kansas City's favored.
I also think, look, both teams' backs are against the wall, must win, literal must win for both. Who you taking in this? Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid or Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott? Like, when if Dak, and Dak is having a phenomenal, he's having a much better year than Patrick.
Yes.
Or a better year than Patrick for sure. But his history is not that he goes crazy and delivers in big games. I'm not saying he hasn't ever done it, but we know his playoff record, 2-5, I think. And Mahomes, I mean, that's his legacy, delivering in big games, big moments. So I just think with that, the Cowboys haven't won 3 straight games since November of 2023. You know, so I just feel like we saw it a week ago, not even, but last weekend, where the Chiefs absolutely had to deliver, and they beat one of the top teams in the AFC. At the time they played the Ravens, that was viewed as a huge game. The Chiefs had one of their best performances. Same thing, you know, against Detroit. That's a big game. Now, I know they lost to Buffalo, which they always do, but they lost to Philly and Denver.
The big game they didn't step up in was Denver. That's that's the big
and
game.
Philly, they played where they lost. I mean, Denver, they were close too, but I just think that in a close must-win game for both teams, you got to take the Chiefs.
If it's a shootout, do you think the Chiefs win it?
I think they can. I mean, Mahomes, I just think is capable. Until they are buried, it's hard. You can't write them off.
I agree.
But you like Dallas.
I like Dallas, and it's a little bit of vibes, a little bit of, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I just really trust Dallas to deliver. George Pickens has 144 and 146 the last 2 games. The Chiefs are a little bit better than 500. They're 1-4 on the road. I think this Thanksgiving game in Dallas, Cowboys are going to be fired up. The Thursday night game on the road, 11 Thursday night games, not count. I took out
Thursday games.
Thursday games.
Yeah.
I took out Eagles.
Chiefs. Yeah.
Eagles Cowboys.
Cowboys
for the opener.
Yeah.
Home team is 8-3. The 3 losses, the Ravens beat the Dolphins in Miami, so it's like the Ravens are the better team. 49ers beat the Rams. It's basically a home game for the 49ers. And the Seahawks beat the overmatched Cardinals.
But
when it's close, I feel like I give it to the home team, including Eagles-Giants. I just feel like the Giants should not have beaten the Eagles. They did.
So here's 2 things. One is, you say when it's close, you give it to the home team. I don't think this is, I know the records are close. The Chiefs are one of 4 teams in the league that are top 10 scoring offense, scoring defense, yardage offense, yardage defense. The Cowboys are number 31 defense. Now, it's different since Quinnen Williams, but one player does not, and I understand they got Overshawn back as well. When we talk about close your eyes and do the Lombardi test or whatever, can you see a team winning the Super Bowl? The Chiefs are on that list. The Cowboys are not.
Agreed.
And so in that regard, they're not close. Here's the other thing that I truly believe matters in this spot. Both of these teams just had huge comeback, at-home, season-saving victories, right? They then play 4 days later in what should be the most watched football game that isn't in the playoffs ever. Which team do we expect to have the maturity and experience to handle that moment Sunday and be ready to play Thursday? I will take the team that has played in 20 games bigger than this over the team that 2 weeks ago had guys partying at a casino 12 hours before, 18 hours before a game, allegedly. But they can handle their liquor. That's right. And so I just think the Cowboys are more, even though the Chiefs have not been consistent in any regard this year, I trust them in a big spot to know how to get ready on a short week.
Look, the Cowboys are capable.
Right now, it's a special episode of Must Win. Nick Wright going for the unprecedented four-peat. Unbelievable. We're
Some
starting
shaky judging, coach.
with Packers in Detroit. This one starts at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox. Just putting out the shrimp cocktail in the Wilds family. Dan Campbell, just one win in 4 Thanksgiving games. Remember last year, got close in that Bears game. Nick, we'll start with you. Since you're the reigning champion, you can pass or play.
Thank you.
Obviously. Who is this a must-win for?
I'm going to pass to Coach.
Wow.
I didn't
Who wants
know you
to go
could pass.
second? You can't.
I can pass wherever I want.
Anywhere he wants.
Wow,
But it still goes
another new
clockwise.
twist of the must-win game. I'm going, this is absolutely a must-win for the Lions. They haven't won 2 in a row now in 6 weeks. They've struggled against Philly to score, and this is after we make the big announcement that we're going to change coordinators. The head coach is going to call plays. They light it up against Washington, and then they fall back down to earth. So they struggled there. They struggled against the Giants. They lost to Green Bay at the start of the season. Didn't score very many points there either. They're 4-1 at home. They're currently 8th in the playoffs. It's obviously a must-win for them.
It's obviously not a must-win for the Lions. It is, however, a must-win for the brain trust of the Green Bay Packers. A story that we discussed 3 weeks ago, and then thanks to a couple unimpressive wins against unimpressive teams, it's gone by the wayside, which is, wait, are Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst on the hot seat? No contract extensions, the Super Bowl or bust expectations, the trade for everybody's All-American Micah Parsons. If they lose this game, week 1, which is the high watermark of their season, feels like even more of an aberration. They then fall to that dreaded 8 seed trying to just sneak their way into the postseason. And if this Packers team misses the playoffs, all the local reporting seems to imply, if not outright say, Matt LaFleur might not be back next year. So it's a must-win for Matt LaFleur and his boss, Brian Gutekunst.
Wow.
Wilds,
What a start.
If you had followed my advice and checked my IMDb page between the break, you would have seen a lot of the characters I played are rebels. Can't be controlled, can't be tamed. So in that spirit, double must win.
We banned double
must win.
right out of the gate.
For the Lions, they need their swagger back. Dan Campbell brought swagger. That's been the whole thing. We're the measly Lions. We're no good. We're terrible. Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Ndamukong Suh, Barry Sanders couldn't win here. He brought swagger, but that swagger is gone. Did it walk out of the door with Ben Johnson? You scored 9 points against the Eagles, and you barely beat Jameis Winston. Your linebacker got run over by Jameis Winston. They need their swagger back. And for the Packers, J-Lo has to be because nobody believes in him. They think he's the reason they won't get to the Super Bowl. Double must win.
I was trying to introduce scarcity back into must win. I said no double must wins. I was proven wrong. Right away, Brou with the victory. Right out of the gate. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You know what, Brou? You earned it. I'm proud of you.
Bears in Philadelphia. Caleb versus Jalen. A brilliant offensive play caller who hates the push versus Kevin Patullo. Strength of schedule, not close, but the records are. Both teams 8-3. Points. The nod goes to Chicago. Defense, nod goes to the Eagles. Turnovers, differential. The Bears are feasting. That's why they're okay.
Well, 26 points a game is pretty good.
Yeah,
the defense
16
hasn't been-
turnovers, too many. Turnover. It's just
Yeah, it seems not sustainable, but
Not
with
sustainable.
Chicago, Peanut Punch, that team that made all the way
You
to Super
started
Bowl.
your section?
No. I'm
Brou?
just helping
Let's
out.
get
No,
some
it's
order.
me.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is you. We're
Who
going
is it?
clockwise. I'm
It's
sorry.
me.
It's going clockwise.
It is
I got
me.
lost. I apologize. It is Nick. He leads off.
I get this thing
Listen.
under control.
The easy answer and the
Pay the
answer I
money.
assume
Right.
one of them are going to go with is something about the Eagles having to get the offense back on track. A.J. Brown, Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, something.
Yeah.
Eminem or trying to
The real answer, and Wild, you know this is a must-win, first and foremost, for Ben Johnson, who this offseason did everything but walk up the rocky steps and spit on him
It's true.
take a hammer to the Liberty Bell, put another crack in it.
Another hammer.
Yeah, exactly. When he said, I like explosive plays. Much less we did see just this past weekend. I don't know who tweeted it. Someone very smart, likely handsome, tweeted it. An explosive play from the tush push when the Pittsburgh Steelers turned it into a 50-yard play against these Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson's locker room post-game speeches, they border between corny or inspirational. You've got to beat Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles, who you baited this offseason into running even more tush pushes against you. It's a must-win for Ben Johnson and his boy genius reputation.
Wow.
Well, it is a must-win for the Bears, but not for those reasons. It's a must-win, but who are they? Like, one of the mantras of this show is not the standings. 8-3, okay, that's nice, so what? Who've you beaten? You beat one team with the winning record, Pittsburgh, and that was with the backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph. Can you beat, last time you played a team with a winning record, they beat you with Tyler Huntley and beat you badly. And the time before that, you played a team with the winning record, they beat you by 31. So you can beat up on the little chunk change in the league, but how do you stack up against playoff teams? Because that's where you're trying to get. And 4 of their last 5 games after this one are against teams with winning records. So they got to prove to themselves, not just us, themselves, that they are a legitimate team.
Excellent.
I really liked yours.
Thank you.
I think yours was excellent. And I agree with you. I think this is obviously a must-win for the Bears. And it's for the reason that you talked about. They've won 8 out of 9. They've won 4 in a row, but they haven't beaten anybody that's had any sort of significance. And if you want to be taken serious, you got to beat someone who is serious. And this will be their first opportunity to do that. And at this point, with Caleb, it's up and down. Has he turned the corner? Has he not turned the corner? Nobody knows. And until he shows and can prove that he can play with the legitimate contenders in the league, we're just stuck where we are.
We were looking for must-win for the Eagles. No points awarded.
What?
I'm sorry.
I would have given it to Brou. I thought.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach is just trying to prevent the dynasty.
This is the bonus round.
And who gets to go last on this one?
You are running the anchor leg on this one.
So Brou's first.
Smart
right?
Brou goes first. Burrow's back and looking for a win against Lamar. Hard to come by. Lamar has owned this particular matchup 6 wins to 1. More yards, touchdowns, turnovers. Joe Burrow's got twice as many, passer rating about the same, but the nod goes to Lamar. This is your guy. Who is this a must-win for, Bill?
This is a Lamar must-cook. We must see old Lamar. They've won 5 straight, and nobody's been that impressed with the offense. We're worried about the offense, right? Lamar is 10-1 against the Bengals. 6-1 you had against Burrow. 10-1 against the Bengals. He has owned them. And they need to blow them out. This is the worst defense in the league in every way. Total defense, scoring defense. They're giving up 33 points a game. The Ravens not only need to win, but they need to win impressively, particularly if they want to see the robe anytime soon. Just throwing that out there.
That was nice. So this is obviously a must-win for the Bengals. Currently, I went and looked at it. They've got less than 1% chance of making the playoffs. But here's the reality. If they win out, then they have a 46% chance of winning the playoffs. They've won 5 games last year, so there's precedent here. And they lost to Baltimore last year 41-38 in overtime and then 35-34. So they were high-scoring games. So they've shown that they can still be high-scoring, but Baltimore hasn't shown the same thing. Cincy's offense remains explosive, even with Flacco. This is a Jamar Chase redemption game, so you've got that going. And then there's also the element of you're risking your future by bringing Joe Burrow back, so you need to make that count. And I'd say the last thing is you can't win all 5 unless you win this first one. And let me just go to another stat here that I want to bring up, because we're talking about 1%. So just take a look at this. So here's the must-win. Right now it's 9-3 for Coach, 9 wins to 3 wins for Coach and Greg. But look over here at Upset Alert. the extensive lead that we have. So I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but since we have that lead and Wildes is the judge, there may be a little must-win bias. So similar to my 1% chance for the Cincinnati Bengals, that's similar to the chance that Greg and I have on a weekly basis, which I just thought we should all be aware of.
Wow.
Coach.
Feels like a little bit of a low blow, but
Not really low.
It did feel that way. I wouldn't impugn the integrity of the judge.
Not impugning.
And I'm just attempting to be, nimble on my feet. And Coach, what do you say about playing a game the way it's being officiated, doing business as business is being done?
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know we're a little loose on the regulations, I'm going to give you my real answer. This is more so than any of the other games, and obvious to everyone, a double must win. For the Bengals, this is the only hope that they have, to Coach's point, of saving their season, and for Jamar Chase to save a bit of his reputation after a very nice long apology note. But we all feel they could have given the Patriots more of a scare had he been there until he watches T. Higgins get knocked out of the game. And does Zach Taylor survive 3 straight seasons of missing the playoffs? For the Ravens, on the other hand, we've been talking for a month that get Lamar back, beat the Cupcakes, be 6-5 going into this game. Now all of a sudden, this game, it's not a cupcake because you are facing Joe Burrow. If you lose to Joe Burrow and the Bengals in their first game back, you give them life to make the postseason. You squander your 2 days of a lead in the AFC North, and we start wondering, could it possibly be that removing Papa Shot didn't fix a professional football team? But either team that loses is in a bit of crisis. That is the definitional double must win.
He
Unbelievable.
Can't ride my coattails.
Exactly, because you started double must win earlier.
Yes.
And I specifically wrote in the document, there will be no double must wins. We are reintroducing scarcity. And in 3 questions, we got 2 of them. Coach takes it! Coach wins on a technicality. Congratulations, Coach. Your first must win in ages. Wow. Unbelievable. What a
Dynasty's over. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.